Hello, this is Bridget with Divine Essentials. So I just tried to do this video, and I was like, I'm just going to touch on a couple of things because blah, blah, blah. And I felt bad because I didn't do like a whole like Lionsgate video for you guys. Like I did a Lionsgate on Bridget Rao, but it was more so like my twin flame people getting messages in regards to manifesting and abundance and all of that. So I just made a video where I was attempting to do the level 5 overview and kind of touch on some of that, but it didn't end up happening. It's like a 40-minute video, so I guess I'm gonna put that up for people who want it, you know, and name it something different. But I do mention in the beginning, I'm like, this is for level 5, so it's not. Maybe I'll have to edit that out, I don't know. But basically, this is for level 5. So this is the overview video for level 5 of Alcyone Light Healing. I have intended to do this before, but as many of you know, that's not been working for me lately, and just craziness. And then I had gone live the other night. It was like way longer than intended, and then I went and did stuff for Bridget Rao, and then I recorded the meditation for Lionsgate, and I didn't even get that onto this channel until like way later, where I had started to upload it, and I sat down to like make the picture to put up here, and then I fell asleep at that little table and never got to it. So here I am now, and I do have some good news where it's like I'm gonna be getting some treatment to help me to like heal the Lyme stuff, and it's not gonna be invasive in the way of where you have all those herxing things, or at least that's what they, you know, have said, and that's like what the people at the program who've gone through the program say and report, and are like, yeah, I love it, it's great, and like I feel 90% better, I feel 80% better, I feel great, I feel awesome. So I'm like, okay. And I found it on Lionsgate. Like I finished up my live the other night, and I was gonna come over to do this video, and I ended up sitting down, like, you know, take a little break, and ended up on the phone, like Googling, and I ended up on their website, which is not far from my house, and it's like half the amount of like what these other places were charging. There's a place in Florida that was going to be like 20 grand just to go stay in Florida, because you got to stay there while you do it for 3 months, and then whatever the cost is for them. But this place is like in you know, the surrounding town area, so I can drive to it, and it's only 9 grand, which is still a lot, but it's a 9-month program, so it's like $1,000 a month, and it's specific to you, and it gets rid of the little sprockets that are attacking my brain, my neurological system, making me like itchy, making me like have all these like things go wrong, and wanting to like, you know, shoot people or myself. So yay, thank you Lionsgate, because I really was like, I don't want to do anything unless I'm going to get better, and it's not going to be like painful to get better, because herxing has been really bad. When you you know, take a medicine and it starts to attack the things that are inside of you, they blow up, or like they start breaking apart inside of you, and they make you worse because they're toxic, they're not healthy for you. But if they're in there for too long before you get antibiotics, they build like a biofilm in your brain, and they are safe, so they don't get impacted by medicine. So you can take as many antibiotics as you want, it's not going to do anything. It might slow them down for a little bit, you might feel better for a week, but they're going to come right back. The only thing that worked in like all of the things that I've read for like medical people doing this and testing, and we did this and we did that, and we did like essential oils, certain essential oils kill them better than antibiotics. But the antibiotics that they gave to me were the worst ones tested on them. And in order to get them to go away completely on people like me who, you know, didn't get any treatment for the first year, took 5 different types of antibiotics given at the same exact time to wipe them all out. Because there's co-infections. It's not just Lyme. So when I go get a test and they're like, oh, you don't have Lyme. I may not have Lyme, but I have the other crap that is in there, and it's just as bad. And it attacks everything. So now I know what I'm going up against, I know who I'm going up against, I know what I want to do and where I want to do it, and hopefully I'll do it good, you know, because it can hopefully get in there. They said some people feel better the first day, you know, like they start feeling better the first day. So I'm going to go with that intention, and I'm going to start feeling better the first day, and we'll go from there. But in this level, basically, I'm going to give you your overview of what we're going to expect, your daily practices, So you want to do these things daily, and at this point you should have some daily practices in place that you actually like or that worked for you better than others. If not, you don't have to be doing the daily practices, but if you want to get the most out of this process or get the most out of anything, that I'm offering here, you want to do things daily. You don't want to just be like, think about it never, or maybe tomorrow, or I did it for the day. Like, that's not going to make a difference. You want to do some stuff consistently. And I talked about my manifesting journal and my tarot workbook in the other video, and kind of like went over them to explain them so people will know how to use them. So those would be, if you're interested in like applying something that's going to like help you as a tool to do things every day, those would be a good thing, and they're inexpensive. And once you get it, you can repeat it, over and over. You don't have to keep buying those from me. You get the first one, you have the template, you print it as many times as you like, or use a different thing as your place that you write. All right, so with level 5, we're going to talk about, it's, where is it? Trance channeling, okay? So it's a majority about trance channeling, and it's the throat chakra level, so I think that's funny because trance channeling, we're going to be using our voice, right? With automatic writing, it's more so like writing, you don't need your speaking voice to write, but with trance channeling, you do. And I've actually had some like downloads, like things that are not in this process or in this thing, of Alcyone light healing, just because this is like the overview of everything, so it's not as like intricate as other things. But I know something that I'll be offering is like a more in-depth way of connecting with people and guiding them, like on how to speak or how to connect to that voice, or finding your voice as a channel, or channeling like the voice, because the voice is a big part. If you want to like guide people on a meditation, the voice is a big part. If you want to do it in a way that's like really like beneficial for them, and it's going to have the most effect on them physically and mentally and all of that, like having the right timing behind your words is really important. Finding the right music, not only for them but for you too, because you're the channel. So you need to be able to get into that right appropriate thing. So we will talk about those things, like obviously, but I plan to have stuff that's going to be like more elaborate. So this first place, you dabble around, and if you decide like, I really like trance channeling, I want to get deeper into it, or I want to host guided meditations for people, or I want to be like whatever, however that might fit into your role as a healer or light worker, for yourself, for your friends, for your people out in the world, then you can come and we'll dive deeper into it. But basically, with this thing, this level, we're going to be talking about connecting with and receiving answers, okay? So we're going to talk about preparing our sacred space, preparing ourselves, and raising our vibration. Because to channel, or to get them to come into you, you want to be in the right vibration, in the right intention, in the right space. Not just like weird random stuff like, hey, I'm in the middle of a parking garage, come on over. That's not a good place to do that work. So breathing and connecting is another part of it. Like, you want to be slowing down. Like I noticed for myself, like I take a few minutes to kind of like center myself before I get into that, and then when I start a meditation, it's not like I just dive in. We're going to talk about getting out of the way, intention, which is like the biggest part of all this work, setting firm boundaries and expectations for what you're doing, and then working in integrity. So like, you want to be aligned to what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it, because there's going to be maybe times where people come to you and they're like, I want to do this, or can you do that? And it might be something you can do, but you may have to think about, do I want to do that? Like, I've had like weird stuff but I've had a lot of weird stuff that came about as like twin flame stuff, and that's been a big thing for me with my integrity and not wanting to do that, and cutting stuff out, because there's a lot of people that manipulate, or they use it in the wrong way, or they're like toxic people. I saw somebody comment the other day some like horrible stuff, like they know who their twin flame is, but this person probably doesn't know who they are, and they're like, I'm all done with my soul work, I've done like the healing and the helping of other people, and I want to find this woman, how do I find her? And it was like, you don't. Because no, if you were done and correct about all of this, you'd be with her, and you're not. So stop. But that's the type of stuff that's like, that's not in your integrity. You don't want to work with that person. You don't want to help them to find her, because that's like scary. And then there's, you know, people out there. I've had people come to me and ask me like about somebody's like sexual experiences, like what does she do, you know, like what does she like, and it's like, not you, you know what I mean? You want to be careful with what you're connecting, what answers you're getting, you know, and careful with like all of that, because there's going to be times that you have to deliver messages that are difficult, but there may be times that you get a difficult messages you may want to not say, you know, let them find it on their own in some instances where it's like, you don't want to be a part of that. And then opening to the higher realms and beings. So again, it's like the same energies as like raising your vibration. We're going to talk about talking, accents, light language, and movements, okay? But again, we're going to be like on like the, you know, talking about them, but we're not going to be like as like in depth into that. So there will be other opportunities to, like, if you're somebody that really wants to do that or strengthen that, those will be available soon. But right now it will be more so like just kind of like covering those things, so you'll know like that's not like a far off thing. If you start feeling like you gotta move or whatever, we'll discuss that. Then channeling someone's I am presence versus their 3D self. So again, kind of like what I'm saying, like if you're having somebody ask you for readings and they're talking about some girl and like what she does sexually, and has she ever hooked up with this person, or what does her boyfriend do to her, like that's her 3D self, and that's not her I am presence. You know, I don't mind to connect with the I am presence of a divine masculine, because the I am presence will say yes or no, you know, and you gotta ask permission each time. But like he is down here on earth with us, like I'm not gonna be calling him up and be like, hey, what do you do? You know, like I don't really, it's a different vibe, it's a different intention, you know, and it's different energies and stuff that comes through. It's more divine, you know. It's like the I am presence. It's the presence that's like guiding everything. It's the presence that knows all that stuff that, you know, they may keep back or hold back in the physical world, but that I am presence knows them better than you, probably better than them, and will, you know, guide that information out appropriately, and will not give it if it's not supposed to be given. So we want to be, you know, protecting ourselves and other people when we do this work. And then we had discussions, activations, and meditations to do are connecting with the emissaries of light and getting out of the way activation. So, you know, like when you want to connect and receive, you got to get out of the way. You know, if you want to trans-channel, you got to get out of the way. You can't be there. Like, I mean, you can be there physically, but spiritually, energetically, mentally, consciously, like you got to move over. Let them come in and do it, and let them, because if you don't, they won't come in. Like if you're weird, or you're like, they're not going to do it. They're going to leave. So you want to get out of the way. And then we have connecting with the I am presence and the individual consciousness meditation. So that will be like how to connect with your I am presence on a deeper level, because so many people struggle with that. They don't believe in themselves, or they doubt themselves. But it's like, if I give you a reading and it resonates, that's you knowing what your soul knows and being like, that resonates. Because it's like, I give some weird messages and people are like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And I'm like, then how do you not know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh yeah, Atlantis and blah, 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 crazy weird things. And they're like, yes, perfect. And it's crazy stuff that to me, I'm like, I hope this makes sense. But to them it does, because they know. So, like, you already connect with it, but we're going to, like, you know, go through a process of, like, letting you connect to that again, and kind of just strengthening that connection and getting used to, like, setting that intention so that you can get your own answers without having to ask me or ask, like, somebody else, or relying on another person to pull the cards. You can pull the cards yourself and get the answers that you need. Like for me, I don't get readings from anybody until, like, somebody's coming and asking me if I want one. I'm like, sure. But I don't go seeking them out. Like, I don't like get weird, need like, oh, help me. I pull the cards. Sometimes I doubt stuff because it's me, and I'm like, maybe that doesn't mean that. But I know deep down it does. Sometimes I do that if I don't want to know the answer. You know, I'm like, oh, it doesn't mean that. Maybe let me pull another one. And it's like, no, that's not a good idea. But it depends on what's going on. Like, if you're really triggered, really upset, probably wait. But if you're okay, grounded, stable, you know, not feeling crazy, you can probably handle the messages and not want to, like, lie to yourself or manipulate them in any way. So that's basically what it is for, to help people kind of, like, do more of that. And then we had connect with your guides activation. So this will help you to connect with, like, your specific guides, and that could be any guides. You know, I feel like we're probably going to do, like, a couple of levels with that, like animal guide, angel guide, spirit guide, soul, like your, you know, main guides, like your family guides, your beings, like your star being guides, like whoever wants to guide you will come through. So it could be ancestors, or it could be angels, or whatever. But I think when I do that activation, it's going to be, like, open, like I'll be guiding you to connect with the different levels. So, like, you know, you can figure out, like, oh, I have the bear, oh, I have my, you know, great aunt, oh, I have Archangel this, or oh, I have, you know, Pleiadians, or Syrians, or Lyrans, or whatever. And we have tons and tons, and they shift, and they change. Like recently, this dude's been coming around my house. He left a freaking horn in the yard, and then he came, and there was, like, ghost plants. And the reason why I connected it to him is because the horn came, and I knew, like, when I saw the horn, I was like, this is, like, I felt like it belonged in the mesa, because I don't know why, but I did. I was like, that feels like it's like a mesa thing. Like, it needs to go in the mesa. So then I looked it up, and it was like, these are about protection, and blah, 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 blah. And the shamans usually have a freaking horn on them somewhere, and they put in their tools. And then, like, a week later, my dad, like, sends me this picture of ghost plants, which are like weird plants. They look scary. They look like ghosts. They're, like, see-through. They have no chloroform. They eat dead plants. They're like, we're gonna suck the life out of you. And they have, like, a droopy head, like they're dead. And if you touch them, they disappear. They, like, ugh. And we have tons of them. He showed me, like, the first picture, right? There's, like, a clump. And they're rare. They're not, like, normally found. Like, he found them in, like, this little area in the yard that was, like, hidden. But then, like, a couple days later, he sent me, like, 5 pictures. And of all the pictures, there's tons of them out there. Tons. Like, a lot. There's gotta be over 100 of them. And that's a lot. And they're supposed to have very specific conditions to live. And they've been used in rituals. Like, the, specific, like, type of, I can't think of the name, like the druids. Okay, the druids would connect with them and use those types of things. And when I looked it up, the plant thing, the first thing I see was him, his name, Cornelius, with horned goat. No, the horned god. And I had just finished saying to my dad, because he showed me the picture of the things, and I was like, this was my response. I was like, the horn is protective. And now I understand why he's always confused with me, because I'm like, makes no sense. To me, it does. You know, the horn came, and then the ghost plants come, and he's, you know, showing me these 2 different things, but I'm like, he's probably like, what? But as soon as I said that to him, I was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. You know, the horn's magical. Blah blah blah. I look, and they're like the horned god, and I'm like, and I had just talked about him in a live reading on Instagram. I was like, oh yeah, St. Bridget, she's got this dude. This is her twin flame, according to this deck. They're like, he's her twin flame. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on with that, because he's like a horned goat dude. Like, what is she doing? But that's, you know, that's that synchronicity. I guess this is like the 3rd or 4th time that he's come up, and like then pieces start connecting them together. But I know he's around right now, but I didn't have him before. And then Lady Nada, out of nowhere, I was like, you know, being guided to the pink rose, the pink rose, the pink rose. You go to my website right now, on the whole page is pink rose. I spent like an entire like week connecting with pink roses, and I didn't know why or what I was doing. But then one night I was like guided to something by some post, and it was like a big, long, crazy thing, like a huge thing. You know how some of those things are, where it's like talking about spiritual stuff and talking about God, or you know, Jesus or whatever. Like there's like all these things and layers and chapters. It was huge. But in it, they talk about her in the pink rose. And she's all about awaken to acceptance of divine love and give and receive in balance. And that's been a recurring theme, give and receive in balance, like nonstop. So I know it's connected to that. But her, like, you know, she's got a twin flame too that we were talking about in the thing from people who are not twin flames. They had nothing to do with twin flames. They weren't talking about twin flames. They were talking about Jesus. And it was like, I don't even know what the guy said. Like, there was like some random lady and some random guy who were talking, and I was like, boop, on the thing that the guy shared to her to like share with her something. And I end up finding out about Lady Nana and her twin flame, who is the King of Swords. And like some crazy thing. I split the deck, got the Knight of Swords. But it's like, it's always piecing together. It's always, there's always like some bigger thing. And like that ended up, after that, I saw somebody talking about Saint Germain, maybe, or Paul the Venetian, somebody having another person that's an ascended master that's together, twin flames. But it's like everywhere I go, they're talking about it, or there's something connected to it. It's like, I know they're there to work with me. So like, even like the pink rose, I started using that before I knew she was around in my pictures on Etsy. I was like, I'm gonna use a pink rose, and I'm like putting my roll-on top of it, or I'm putting, you know, it next to the bottle of whatever. And then the next week I find out, like, I mean, look at their picture, it's all a pink rose. So it's just, those are the little subtle things that we want to pay attention to figure out who our guides are, because the guides shift. But we'll talk more about that when we get there. But I think like those are like the important things, like to get that confirmation, to have those little like, oh wow, like that's crazy that that's happening. Because to me it's significant, to other people it may not be. But if you have something happen on a consistent basis and it's like all piecing together, and it's like it makes sense to you and to your life and to what you've been doing, then go with it. You know, don't let other people be like, you're crazy, because there's a reason for it. So basically we will be also dealing with the throat chakra, and there will be you know, wearing the color blue for the duration. Anytime you want to wear the color blue, or find something to eat that's blue. I don't know how you're gonna do that. What is blue? I'm like, what is blue? I guess I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm like, I have some blue Laffy Taffy. So, blueberries. You can eat blueberries. Wear or eat the color blue for the duration of the level. Get creative. Draw, paint, make symbols, light language. Now, that's funny because I've been adding in my art again. I have two things right now. Like, I was supposed to have them done a while ago, but that doesn't happen anymore. So, anyways, I did like an energy art thing where it was like, I'm going to draw a picture of you, your energy, or you and your twin flame's energy, or how your twin flame perceives you, you know, something like that, like different things. And then I had another idea come like after those initial ones where it was like, I pick a card for you and then like draw the draw that, like, and then give you a message with it. So it's like a little bit of automatic writing, a little bit of channeled art, okay? Because you can channel art as well. But it would be like, oh, this is your card, the Ten of Cups, and this is the message for you. And it would be a set thing. It's like an energetic activation. So like if you got the Ten of Cups for your energetic activation of art, this would be bringing you that frequency, that vibration, so that you can manifest this into your life. And there would be a message with it to go along, to tell you like other stuff that's corresponding to it in any way, whatever the messages are that they want to give to you. And if you're somebody that's like asking about love, well, that would be a good thing. But if you're somebody that's asking about just whatever, it's still a good thing. But you know, I want to set it up in a way like, how do you ask? You know, is this for love? Like then you get these, and that would be like, oh, all right. But then you might get those. So, you know what I mean? Basically, you get the card that goes along with the energy. Just one card would be drawn, like the energy, the picture of that. The words would be written with it. It's like an activating thing for you. I'm getting another message. And then the other one was like a 3-card thing. So it would be like you get 3 cards to go over your situation. and to give you the messages in connection to those 3 cards. You know, like, oh, looks like you're going to reconcile and you're going to end up with 10 of Pentacles. But I don't know. It's just different. A lot of people were really like excited to do the one where it was like, how does Divine Masculine view you? Like an image that I draw of how he perceives her. And that could be like a body, like a lady with a body and all those things, or it could be energy of just like paint and colors and frequencies. I'm not really sure yet because I've only tried one of both things. I have one that's like how he perceives her, and then I have one that's both of them, his energy and her energy in the photo together. And then there's going to be like a 30 to 60 minute automatic writing with that to explain it. But I have the images done, like the drawing part done that I wanted to do. Now what I wanted to do is take that into like digital form and like change it a little bit with like some other stuff. I just haven't had a chance to do that because I know once I sit down to do that, that's going to be like, I do that all day long. That's how I am when I do art and things. I do like one whole session and I don't want to end. Like I made decks in one session because if I stop making the deck to take a break or to, I'll do it tomorrow, I never go back to it for a while. I'll eventually go back and finish it, but it takes like, there's some that I probably never will, but it just like, it throws the energy off. I used to do that with the drawings too. Like when I would do drawings, like just to draw, it would be like a half of a drawing is done and then there's nothing else with it forever. I have that with like a painting too that I did. It was like just half the painting's there, but never went back to it because I like to get it all done at once. I'm in that energy, I'm in that vibration, I'm in that frequency, I'm channeling that thing. It's hard for me to go back to it. So I should probably figure out how to like make that more accessible. Or cover that in a thing so that we can, avoid that for other people. So yeah. Then we have authenticity and integrity meditation. So that's like, your throat chakra is connected to your authentic expression of truth, and being in your integrity. And then the homework for level 5 is practice trance channeling, getting out of the way, finding your position. So we're going to talk about that. Finding your voice. We're going to talk about that. Play around, light language, toning, hands-on, etc. And then writing up your clear intentions in your protection prayer. So practice connecting to your I am or someone else. You can practice just connecting to yourself, or you can practice connecting to somebody else outside of you for this stuff, like just practice with it. You could have a certain person in mind, like I'm going to connect to this person and let me like see if I can tap into them. I feel like I'm going to forget something. And then practicing connecting to their 3D self. Because, like, you can connect to 3D selves. Like, if you're doing readings for people, there's going to be times you need to connect to the 3D self. Like, how does he feel, right now? Like, you would like to know that. But, like, when it comes to, like, certain things, there's, like, certain stuff you don't want to, like, infringe on. But, like, if somebody cheating on me, like, and you want to figure that out, you might need to connect to the, like, person down here. And also for healing, like when you're doing healing work, you'd want to connect to like the 3D person because they're going to be the ones receiving that healing. But it's like just use your integrity, use your best judgment for that stuff. Is it something that I should be thinking about them, or is it something I should be thinking about that? Because that is above, that soul source energy has all the information, all the answers. It goes beyond just the mundane here. But sometimes, I don't know, I feel like people, it's like you get a different level of stuff. Sometimes people are going to want more ego-y things, and sometimes people are going to want more divine things. And you can, decide how you want to do it. I think that everybody has free will, so you don't want to infringe on that. As long as you're kind of like being in a good place, good intention for your thoughts and stuff, then it's okay. And then we have ask your questions, like your soul's name. You want to trust getting that answer. The name of your guides, and trust getting that answer. And then things that you need to know the most of. So like while you're practicing on your 3D, practicing on you, or practicing on a family member, or practicing on a soul family member. Like, I'm going to connect to my star family. You can ask questions like, what is my soul name? What's the name of my guides? What do I need to work on? And it just trust. You might speak it, you can record it, however it feels right. I'm like, why is there 2 sections? Alright, so you're going to be wearing the color and eating the color and getting creative, drawing and painting, light languages and stuff like that you can play around with if you feel called to that. If you feel weird, don't do it. You're probably not going to be able to. And then we can also do like affirmations of humming, light language, singing, like toning, like doodling, painting, creating, journaling, communicating, breathing consciously, moving your body, meditating with the yantra, and journaling your experience just like in the other ones. This is the yantra for this. So you would like sit, connect with it, look at it, meditate with it. What is my experience with that? And also creating your new truth-filled beliefs. So you want to make sure that you're coming up with truth-filled beliefs and releasing illusionary limited beliefs. Because we have a lot of illusions that we believe, like, I can't have this, money's like the problem, or in order to have this, you got to do that. And like those are usually illusions and lies. So we want to have good, truthful ones. And then write 20 truth-filled affirmations and recite them daily as your beliefs. So, like try to come up with some really good ones that are more so in alignment with divine truth, like lack, fear, all that stuff's like programming and it's bad stuff. So if your beliefs are based out of those, you want to get rid of those and make them into like more so like, I am abundant and I'm connected to the expansiveness of all that there is, all that there ever will be. Creation is limitless. I am powerful. I can create anything I would like to create. I always had the belief that like, if they can do it, so can I. So like, that's a truthful belief that you can hold on to that will probably help. Because if I didn't believe that, I probably wouldn't have ever tried to do a lot of the stuff that I've done that's helped. And then I like things like, I am amazing, I am unique, even just like owning your name, and trying to be proud of it. Like, I am this and I'm proud of who I am. And make that the belief, make that the truth. If it's not the truth now, like if you don't own who you are or you're not proud of who you are, try to shift that vibration into that being your divine truth. So I would come up with 20 truth-filled ones that you feel really good about, that they're not lies or they're not caught up in illusion, and recite them every day to help you. And then practicing that meditation will help you, and just going through the things that are in here. So if you don't have this, everything's in here, the manual. And then over here is like the week by week thing. So it kind of gives you an idea, breaks down. So next video we'll be talking about preparing your sacred space, yourself, your vibration and all of that, connecting and receiving answers, breathing and connecting, getting out of the way, your intention, and then setting boundaries, and then seeking truth and working in integrity. So that's a lot. Like, that's a lot of stuff. But it will probably come out soon because I don't want to be like, too far off. There's really not like tons of stuff left to do. If you look at like the big part, we've already done like 4 levels. And this level and level 6 are not huge. You know what I mean? They're not like monstrous. The next one we do tarot and oracle. And that's not going to be like wicked, like in depth. That's going to be like an overview to kind of give like a little bit of an understanding so that you can see if that's something you like. And if that's something you like, you can dive deeper into. And then I'll have like a miniature thing that's like only tarot, so it's not like all this other stuff. For those that are definitely like, that's what I want to do. And then after that is the last of it, which is basically us just doing activations of star beings from different places. And those different ones will help you to connect and to like start to be familiar with those different places. Like, this is what the Syrians feel like, and this is what the Syrians excel with. And like, so if I have somebody dealing with this situation, I want to call the Syrians. Or if I'm dealing with this situation, I want to call the Syrians. And this is the right vibration or the right frequency to do it. Or this type of music feels Syrian to me, or this type of vibration of whatever it is, this scent, this vibration, this color, whatever it is. You'll start to be able to place it to things because it all has like a similar thing, like when I made the Pleiadian oil, I made the Syrian oil, I made the Lyran oil based off of like the vibrations and the frequencies and like how those things feel. But that last level is just all like activation meditation, activation meditation, activation meditation. And then at the very end of it, I tell you, like, how do you want to channel an activation? How do you want to be, you know, showing up and doing this for other people? And then we're done. So there's really not that much left. Hopefully I can just kind of get through it, not die, or have like huge gaps. But I'm just going to go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Everybody knows my circumstances right now. I'm trying my best with what I've got. And in 9 months, I should be okay. So, yeah. If you have any questions, put them down below. But this is basically going to be all about trance channeling. So, if you want to do trance channeling, practice. Okay? Like, and just don't make it a big deal in your head. Just do it. But, you know, set the space, set the intentions, protect yourself, and then just do it. You know, just do it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Whatever comes through, like, let it in. This is one of the ones that's, like, people either can do it, just, like, jump right into it, or they, like, block themselves and get all up in their head, and, like, oh, my God. And anybody can do it. So don't let it be that big thing that you block your head, okay? So hopefully that assists you guys to get started with this level. And like I said, I will be back to do the next part of this, which is about connecting and receiving answers. Okay? Munay Namaste.